Frustration over social distancing is reaching a boiling point in some parts of the country. An ice cream shop owner in Massachusetts closed just one day after reopening because angry customers were not following safety guidelines. And then many of them began harassing employees. At one point, things got so bad at the Polar Cave ice cream parlor in Mashpee on Friday that an employee quit that same day. The owner describing the insults that were lobbed at his employees, some of them as young as 17 years old, as vulgar locker room language. Certainly some of these things we cannot repeat on air for sure. And that owner, Mark Lawrence, is joining me now. Mark, tell us about this. You plan to reopen to kick off Mother's Day weekend and serve the ice cream that folks have missed while trying to maintain safety standards so that your customers and your employees could remain safe. And in the end, I know that this was ruined for you. This isn't how you expected it to go. What happened?
We had everything what we thought would be in plan. I've worked very closely with our local Board of Health and to what they would ideally want me to do. I worked very closely with the National Ice Cream Restaurant Association. They had different protocols from different shops, so I worked closely with them. I've talked to different owners of ice cream shops around the world. I'm a member of a number of Facebook groups. And I pretty much took all of the best things from them to try and see if maybe I could do it, So what, this worked, that worked. And I thought I had a pretty good plan, but everything was going well. The people were ordering online at least an hour ahead. But then by 5 o'clock, pretty much like the general public, you would be driving down the street and they'd be, oh my goodness, Polar Cave's open. So they would pull in, and in the space of about 40 minutes, my 50-spot parking lot was full, and we were only expecting like 20 orders for that particular time. And so the girls were saying, no, we're only taking pre-advanced orders and we'll do what we can for you. So we were basically, the wheels fell off the bus because we couldn't produce that much product to get out the door in a time enough fashion. So people started to get very agitated. We were only doing curbside pickup, so you had to sit in your car in the parking lot. Some people would get out of their car and pretty much don't tell me what to do, and it'd be like, no, get back in your car or don't have ice cream. So we were supposed to close at 8 o'clock, but the last customer got served at 9:30. And the young lady who had been out came in and she said, can I just go home instead of having to do any, clean up on the inside? I'm like, of course, you've done more than enough for today. And then she went home, and about 20 minutes later, I got a text saying that she's let me know that she's resigned because of what happened and how people were talking to her. And then I called her and said, and the language, you can't broadcast the language. I mean, F-bombs were flying like snowflakes. And you don't call a young lady, we shouldn't call anybody some of these words that we use, directed at a 17-year-old. And I apologized profusely and said to her, why didn't you tell me the first time somebody told you to do this? And she goes, well, I didn't want to disappoint you or our regular customers. And I'm like,
so I know that you've said, Mark, that one of your employees was called the C word. I think we can use our imagination and know that is inappropriate language. You're talking about, kids.
To a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah. And so this is the lowest feeling I know that you've ever had. I know people wouldn't social distance. They were not having patience. So where do you go from here?
So what I did, I posted on the page that we're closed, that this isn't working. And pretty much my daughter created an online form, and we slotted it out. We tweaked the form that we had, so we had time slots, and we cut off the certain time so you couldn't. And it worked very well. I made a whole new Facebook page, a hidden group, to my top 500 customers, and sent the invitations out to see how we would do on Saturday. And Saturday was a whole new ball game. It was wonderful. It was like people ordered, they came when they were supposed to come, and they went. Some people came who didn't know because they drove past and saw, and they were all quite understanding. Because by now they'd seen it on, the thing's gone completely viral. So they're like, oh my goodness, we better behave ourselves. But the closest thing I can say is it was like you let caged animals out of their cage after being in it for 7 to 8 weeks, and then they took it on the easiest prey. They took it all out on this poor 17-year-old girl. And I talked to there were two older ladies that had worked that night. One of them was a customer who hopped out of her car, put her gloves on and a mask on, and come up and she's like, "What can I do for you?" So she did. And I said to them, "Were people nasty to you too?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we got all those words thrown at us." And I'm like, and they're like, "We just told him," or looked at him like, "What?" Like an adult would respond, "Well, don't talk to me like that." But a 17-year-old young girl, she's not going to stand. She'll just be like, "Okay, I'll go to the next." And this young girl, she's the kind of kid, she didn't want to have birthday parties. She hates to be the center of attention. I talk to her at least once or twice a day, or to her mom, and she's like, "Finished. Don't make this go any bigger." I'm like, "I can't. It's out of our hands now."
Well, Mark, I think that you're sort of a test case for what a lot of places are going through, and we're seeing the frustration. And we want to thank you so much just for telling us what happened at your store. We really appreciate it, and we wish you the best of luck as things move forward. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
A top